10 seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire pick. It's Radiant's band now. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire's turn to ban. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire's turn to pick. Radiant pick.
Medusa.
10 seconds. This is where you choose your hero. 10 seconds. 5 seconds left.
You know, spiders are terrifying.
Like, absolutely terrifying. And it looks to be the same thing here in the draft, man. Like, what is the answer? How do they find the clearance? How do they survive longer than 20 minutes that the draft panel put us on the top clock for?
Real life spiders don't look like that. Unfortunately.
I don't know. I don't, you haven't seen Australian spiders.
It would be pretty terrifying if we saw that spider in real life. Not just size, but also looks with like the cosmetics and everything it has on it. Yeah, this is a really great last pick Brood from TNC. I think if you're ViciGaming, your solution is to put the Centaur mid. I don't think there's any other way you deal with this. You play the Medusa safe lane with the Warlock, and then you offlane Shadow Demon Leshrac. Perhaps you can do some tri-lane shenanigans and leave the Medusa solo and let her suffer a little bit. But I think the dual lane setup is the only thing you can really do. So what TNC should be looking at is, if the lanes are super predictable for them, which they kind of should be, put the ideal lanes. You keep your Brood mid, even if it's against Centaur, that's completely fine. But how can you punish one of the side lanes? Do you leave a hero solo and do some super strong tri-lane with the Grimstroke and Juggernaut? Or do you also do a 2-on-2 match where you can beat them in perhaps all 3 lanes if everything goes right?
That'd be very advantageous, and that would put at least like if they could win all 3 lanes, TNC will be very happy because they can potentially stick to that 20-minute timer. But I also like the combinations that ViciGaming have, where you have the SD as well as Leshrac. It's a classic, it works really well. DY, if you can get early levels and you actually have a rock to drop, if you actually have Fatal Bonds, if you have some kind of control that's able to amplify the damage that Paparazzi as well as Ori may be missing in the early part of the game, then this is a better advantage too. And it feels like, while there's not a Magnus in this game, the rock drop is still able to cause a lot of problems. Same with the Stampede. How does TNC stay on top of them, or does it not matter? Do you just keep pushing anyway?
I mean, I'm pretty convinced that if this goes late, ViciGaming will win this game, because they have some good late-game solutions for Brood. They just don't have the early mid-game solutions for Brood has a tendency to either win games in 30, 35 minutes, sometimes maybe 40, or lose most of the time when it goes very late because the hero falls off. Whereas a hero like Medusa scales very well into late game. So does Centaur, so does Leshrac, and their 2 supports. All of Vici's heroes are amazing in long games. So, yeah, you got to hit that timing for TNC, and a lot of it is going to come from Armel. So keep a close eye on his lane.
We have seen some Broodmothers have more success in the late game just because of the change to the webs.
Yes.
And that's one thing they can do when the late game comes up. Ori's already being heavily attacked up on top lane. Tims has Toss. He's going to throw him back a long, long way. Ori's already used the Mystic Snake as much as he can, but there's no regeneration. Gabby gets the first blood up on top lane, and DY, there's nothing he can do about it. He hasn't even leveled an ability yet. And every time, this will happen again. Tims with another toss. The early aggression. They cannot allow this to happen. DY, now he'll level up the Shadow Word. He's putting it onto Tims. He wants some level, some rebuttal, one more attack. It may be enough. Yeah, it will be. The Shadow Word will tick him down.
Tango.
And DY,
Tango.
oh, he's, yeah,
Tango.
actually, is it still?
Tango.
It's enough. Tango is good.
Tango. Close call though, but he got out. And yeah, this tri-lane is super strong. TNC has a true kill lane here with Grim, Tiny, Jugger. It's only going to get worse when both Grim and Tiny hit level 2, so that they have Inkswell and Avalanche, as Tims will.
He'll deny himself to the mid tower.
Suicide to the mid tower.
Hey, but Shed Bounty, right?
Yep.
Everyone gets some money. And Cuckoo's getting pounded on the bottom lane. He's looking for some CS, but he's 10-2 to the 2-0, right, of himself 2-0. But Paparazzi's trying to do some damage directly into Cuckoo. No points up in Edict just yet. They're using Disruption, Lightning, Split Earth, anything they could do to harass him down. He's down to 3 tangos after burning through a couple more as well, south.
That's the price they'll pay, but if they can shut down Medusa really hard, it's great news for them. When it's going to come to pushing and ending the game, though, you might want Leshrac to have a slightly worse game than this because it's such a strong team fighter with a lot of damage output with the right items. But as the panel talked about, there's some serious bursts on the Radiant side from Tiny and the Juggernaut Omnislash as well. You can probably deal with the Leshrac pretty well.
And defensive ward from DY is down, so they can at least see where Tims is moving. Probably would have liked to get it on the other side of the tree line, but Fatal Bonds Tims and AU to the camp. Tims with the Avalanche. Someone want to come close enough? Yep, it will in fact be the Grimstroke. And DY wants to help out. He's just got some damage into the Grimstroke, and that's all. Ori is totally dead. The shields are nowhere near strong enough. And it's just a terrible game for the Deucer now. And I just saw Yang jump, I think, like 10 CS. One double edge on the spiders. Okay, he just went up another 5 CS.
Nah, he's going to rush Vanguard. Then he's pretty safe mid against the Broodmother. What generally happens in Brood matchups like these is that Brood will retreat to the jungle and just out-farm you. It will farm wave and jungle camps, and Yang will just sit there and get only the wave. But Centaur's biggest advantage in this lane, to an extent, apart from being able to be there, is that if Brood leaves, he's going to take the tower with Retaliate. So you put a little bit of extra pressure on that mid hero to stick around, and will probably limit Armel's farm by a little bit. Trying to be annoying now.
It buys some good time, more than anything else. And that's what ViciGaming need. Still get Leshrac up there, top 3 net worths. Only one of them belongs to TNC. Brood's still a little bit further behind. We know that will start to scale once Brood...
Bottom lane.
Oh, they're actually going again.
Yep.
Cuckoo trapped out. Fade. Well, he's getting a lot of poison stacks on him. That's 4. One more, not even needing it. He just pops him anyway. Then up on top, Tim's going once again, TY. And this top lane eventually is going to have some diminishing returns. Tim's is going in very deep.
Nice
puts the Shadow Word on him, tosses him back over towards Grimstroke.
Tim's, or DY was not expecting Tim's to be able to find the toss there. He was standing in the middle of the creep wave, but Tim's found the right angle to be closest to the Warlock and toss him away, and they get a nice kill there. Warlock will be respawning and be able to reconnect for the bounty runes, but I don't think ViciGaming have any intent on trying to do anything on the top runes. Rather, push out bottom lane with the Leshrac and try to get those runes, as Shaker has...
He's abandoned.
He's gone woods.
Yeah, he's gone bush.
That's... Somebody's got to go bottom. You don't give up a lane at 5 minutes like this. I don't think that cannot be worth it with the heroes that they have.
No, that's like full free farm for Paparazzi.
That's one thing. It's also all this golden experience you're losing by not having a hero in this lane. Like, sure, you get some stuff in the jungle, but that's not ideal.
Unless they're thinking about lane switching. You've hit pretty heavily into the Dusa. Like, is there a need to actually bring some pressure down against the Leshrac?
I think that ship has kind of sailed for the laning stage, unless you bring 2 or 3 heroes down there. There's nobody who can go down here on his own and stop this Leshrac from doing what he's doing. The problem is if they don't do it, he's just going to push the towers. It's level 3 edict. These towers fall really quickly. So this is absolutely a problem for TNC that Cuckoo has to evacuate that early, but that was the choice they made when they aggroed the Dusa.
Yep.
Dusa is in trouble again.
Yeah, really staying on top, but then again the Stampede. Inkswell won't connect, Fatal Bond's connecting 3 heroes together, and Paparazzi, he's joined the fight. Now he's just going to turn on the teams. They're all connected together, and no way to break free. Cuckoo trapped in the tree lines. If they can attack into Tim's as well as Gabby, Gabby's going to try and spin TB out. He actually gets the kill on the way out. Tim's is doing some damage into AU, but he's back home safely, regenerating up.
And these fights are only going to get worse now. If you try to dive, now that the Leshrac has Pulse Nova, when he shows up, he's like double his damage in these kind of fights. So you've got to be super careful with how deep you dive as TNC. You got the kill that you came for, but it cost you 2 cores.
Hey, someone's going to go back down bottom lane as well. SD is now alone down there.
Yeah.
He didn't have to come for the fight. They sent in Paparazzi because they realized they needed the damage output from him. And what happened to Leshrac? He is now skyrocketed up to #1 on the net worth, 3.6k. And he can build some very, very large items very early on in this game. Like you're 6-7 minutes into the game, efficiency shrine just for good luck. Yang has already finished up the Vanguard. Paparazzi, what do we got coming out in the courier?
It's not for him.
It's not for him, you're right. He was looking at a Bracer as well as a Null.
He's quick buying Bracer. I think it's a really good choice. Maybe you get Bracer and then Yules, or maybe you get... I don't think you get 2 Braces and 1 Null. That seems a little bit overkill, but the Bracer would be fine. And yeah, we see it. Gabby has to go bottom now. Just, you know, somebody's got to be down here.
Yep.
And he does the long run from base to bottom because he died TPing out from top.
AU. Do they see him? Do they see him moving around the tree line? He drops down his Observer Ward, instantly dewarded. That's actually munched on by Ori, so hey, efficiency tango. What happened to this mid-pressure that I thought Armel was going to do? Centaur, with Retaliate, is just wrecking this tier 1 tower. And Armel, the panel was saying, like, this is meant to be Armel's game, a great Broodmother game, but right now it's taking some time. The only great lane is up here on top where TNC is fighting once again. Stampede, the body block was good, but once again, Paparazzi TPs himself over. Cuckoo is the sacrificial lamb into the tree lines. They're holding the split Earth. Hey, oh, DY.
How did DY get that?
Wait, what? Okay, sure, he'll take it.
Let's fade damage from...
I think it was Shadow.
Oh, was it Shadow? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so Yang has won the lane. He brewed power and is goal to hit him.
Well, now that I do something about it, but oh, the home stomp and the this game is starting to escalate a little bit quicker. We were talking about potentially winning all three great matchups, and it feels like all three teams have gone the way of ViciGaming.
I think you only have a possibility of winning all three lanes if you play 2-1-2. If you play 3-1-1, you can't win the 1-2 lane. Lost really hard. The Shaker against the Leshak plus Jetting lane. And the Brood against Tar, I would have said beforehand that sort of Brood matchup in the beginning, Brood by farming. If Armel will do that, he lost his 7 minutes, 30. I don't think that's as early as this would usually go, but Yang is super experienced with playing the Centaur, and he's having a wonderful game. 113 CS minute 9. I guess some of them are spiderlings, but that's also telling, right? If he kills this many spiders, maybe Armel isn't in his right element on this hero in this game.
Yeah, he was throwing him in like
I was the groups, right?
Yeah, he did. Fade is just doing nothing but chasing down AU. He had more than enough poison stacks on him. AU was on a warding mission. He came in onto the cover of smoke, but he only came in as he dropped the Radiant Opt on top of his death position. So he was looking to plant that next to the tier 1 tower. But I can tell you right now, with VG's presence down here, there's no way TNC getting close to that dire bottom tier 1. So with Leshak arriving, 4 points up and Edict to push the wave, take it back. Looks like Armel's getting some damage into that mid tower, bringing it down to half-life as Yang had abandoned his post for a moment. And the catch-up is happening, as you said. Hand of Minus is over and Arm into the Aghanim Scepter, rushing it up, realizing he needs to have a large amount of control across this map.
Yeah, he needs to farm a lot, this game. But already, that is probably a bit of a problem. If your Broodmother needs to, not that Brood needs to farm a lot, Brood always needs to farm a lot, but that it feels like he needs to catch up in a game where we talk about ViciGaming having the better late game and the overall early stage went well for them. This is very quickly becoming a problem. The win expectancy is 75% for ViciGaming, and we're only 10 minutes in. And it's just this early mid tower and this golden experience lead that they have from the laning stages is quickly becoming a problem for TNC to deal with.
And look at the confidence from Yang. He doesn't care if becoming high ground with a double headshot now. And that's some spill damage up on top. Paparazzi in Bid's rune, looking to prep up. It's a toss back. They don't even know Leshak. Yeah, they do. He walked just in range of the sentry wall. That's why Tims threw out the toss straight away. But Stampede, now they're chasing after Tims. What's he got? He's got toss off cooldown. He'll throw Paparazzi away. Split Earth will easily be out. And the time ball, Paparazzi claiming his 4th kill of the 8 that VG have 11 minutes in.
Top towers under attack.
And his Gabby's getting something on the bottom. Farming out quickly, going in for the Maelstrom build over on the Juggernaut, and getting some damage into this tier 1 tower. Medusa will have to come and do something about it. She's just been wanting to farm up the stacks.
Yeah. It feels like TNC actually need to start making moves, but your Brood is not really ready for it yet. Just Yang is just sitting on Brood really, really hard. And your Shaker got crushed in lane, so he doesn't have many play options. And Tiny's level 5. With Scrimstroke, he's also level 5. We're 12 minutes in. None of their supports are level 6. On the other side, Shadow Demon is almost level 8, and Warlock is almost level 8. They have a huge lead. Are there any tomes on this courier? There are no tomes. This is what will happen. So the weakness of going tri-lane like this is if you don't get a lot of kills and just stomp the lane, if you keep the levels for too long, your supports are going to get under level because they're sharing experience 3 ways.
Yep.
And I felt like the moment Shaker evacuated from bottom and gave up on the lane, you need to put a support down there to leech this experience. You can't just leave this lane empty for 2 or 3 minutes, which results in exactly this. Your options are super limited on the map right now for TNC.
You know, Fade, I think that's a little greedy, but I understand he wants to get the Ether Lens up. He just farmed half of the stacks that he did on the Ancients with just mass stacking up poison. But Ari can finish what's left.
I'm the carry now. And now Brood is top net worth. So Armel is finally leading the board. But similar to Alchemist, Brood has a bad game if it is not the richest hero in the map. Your net worth is not as valuable as other heroes overall. In general, that's like a rule of thumb. It's not 100% always, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So this is not enough if you recall some of the very iconic Matumba Man games, for example, from TI9 when Liquid won, a lot of the game's motto is 2k gold ahead of all enemy cores at this point, or maybe even 3. So with that logic in mind, Broodmother is currently behind par for the course, kind of.
He needs to catch up 2,000 gold.
He needs to find big items, and maybe if there's some sort of stray kill that can come his way that could help, maybe the Broodmother can find Shadow Demon, someone kill him with spiders, but Vici are just not playing Brood's part of the map with anyone else than Centaur, and he can't kill that guy, so look at how fat Yang is.
Yeah.
Crimson Guard, 2k health, minute 13.
And he's working on finishing a full pipe for his team, so a lot of the magical damage is going to be negated on TNC. Meanwhile, Paparazzi, because of his crazy start's got a Yule Scepter, so he's got both defense as well as aggressive options when it comes to the fight. And he's got Warlock sitting behind him. Like normally you have a Warlock and that Warlock hits 6 and you're like, okay guys, let's go and fight. Let's find a great opportunity. And now on bottom lane, there's the movement. Tim's, Yule's stunned, can't walk away. He added some pressure, he tried to toss away Paparazzi, but may have actually just hurt Gabby more if that actually succeeded. But it doesn't. It's just still a one-off kill. Blink Dagger flying out right now. In fact, it's Oh,
Gabby's running at Yang, but
no, that's not
what are you going to do?
There's a Blink Dagger for Cuckoo. This has to come on the back of a smoke. The Aghanim Scepter as well, I think, is about to be completed up for Armel.
Yeah.
So a lot of critical items starting to arrive for TNC. What can they do with it?
Yeah, there has to be a play timing, right? You smoke up with your Shaker, your Tiny, your Grimstroke, and maybe a Jugger or Brood, and you combine on lane and get something done. Either you get this mid tower with a lot of Spiderlings, or you try to push the top tower. But just sitting around farming right now, I think is definitely the wrong play, and something needs to happen. So let's see what they're gonna do. They're just gonna grab these 2 bounty runes for now.
God, those whip charge.
Vici are getting a tower in the meantime. This lead, Toby, it's getting ridiculous. What do you think? 90% almost. 15 minutes in.
You just watch the win probability.
I mean, you look at that graph and you're just like, okay, I mean, I know it went a bit better for Vici in the last 3 minutes, but I didn't expect it to swing this much, you know? It's like...
And you still have a Broodmother at number 1, Jug at number 3, and when it comes to net worth,
yeah,
like, items are not stopping, but it just tells you the tail when it comes to gold, when it comes to kills. It's not always the easy answer to say, well, we're ahead a little bit, so we're only like 60% favored.
Expectancy of games is... like, the golden XP graph can only take you so far because it's a lot about knowledge of matchups and how things are supposed to... DY
actually reveals that Earthshaker blinks over, but he didn't see DY. Now DY will drop the rock, as well as get the Battle Bonds off. Have they got another control? No, they don't. In fact, it's in trouble. Stampede to disengage. My God, all those spiders just evaporated. Paparazzi and Centaur can go to work. You'll scepter up, and you will hit the deck in the hardest way possible.
Yeah, TNC just didn't find the... It's so hard for them to find an opening right now.
That timing was really unfortunate too. Like,
yeah, they ran...
You had to have it get where the blink was, and DY was only just putting that observer ward down.
Yep.
Trade-off looking for the mid tower. Paparazzi will arrive. Once again, a lot of Spiderlings done for this movie. We're at 228 CS on Centaur and 172 on the Deucer. A lot of this is spiders.
I don't think the Deucer killed any spiders.
She hasn't? I guess she's
maybe
just been neutral.
Maybe a bit, but not much. If she killed... I don't... Like 5, maybe? I don't think I've seen her kill very many spiders, at least.
What's the spider gold counter or something? That's what we need.
They give minimal amounts of gold. It doesn't really much. They're worth like 3 gold each or whatever. It's something, but...
And Cuckoo really wants to drop this Echo Slam somewhere, but he's not finding an opportunity at all. And he doesn't want to do it on Yang. Hood is already done. Crimson Guard is up. I think the pipe is just... Yeah, he's just waiting for 50 gold, and the pipe will fly out.
So we talked pre-game about timing and what TNC's lineup needs to accomplish in order to get control of this game and run away with it. And now that the timing has been missed, that is seeing this 90% win expectancy. So what's the last 10%? Outside of Vici screwing up, the options that TNC are kind of limited to are trying to force fights around where Brood is playing, and then probably blowing up the Leshrac is my best bet. You're not killing Centaur, and if you are, it's going to cost you the fight.
Well, on the bright side, Leshrac went for movement speed build, so that's your upside.
He does have a save, however, and a golem behind him once that's available, but even that kill is hard. But it's what you've got to try as TNC is to to find a way to access fights. If you're playing chicken with Brood the whole game, hey, Brood's chances are just not good here. So you've got to start taking some risks. You've got to go for some plays that are maybe very unlikely to succeed. But what if they do?
Yang wants to play. Gabby doesn't want it. Here, have a VG tag. That won't save you, Gabby. Actually, you will. And just like be a way to say, no, you're fine. Spin saves him, not the tag. But nice to see he's coming into this series armed with all the memes they can have. Paparazzi's hoping for an opportunity in mid, in Viz room.
And Paparazzi's changing his build. He was hovering the Kaya, which is the classic component from the Sumail move speed build. I'm gonna call this Sumail build because he's the first guy thought of it. I don't know if he actually invented it, but I think he might have.
We'll give him credit.
Where you go the travel Yules, and then, or Yules, then Roots of Travel, then Kaya Yasha. So you have permanent 550 move speed with the 15 talent move speed. And then you can level up your Pulse Nova early because you have the mana cost reduction from the Kaya.
Yang is hunting. Bottom lane, Stampede, straight through, Tim's. Well, he knows he's dead. Paparazzi didn't even arrive in time for the rest of TNC. Hey, what happens? You lose a hero, let's go fight, boys. 4 heroes together, smoked up, looking towards the mid-tier tower. Fate is the man who's on the defense duty.
Finally get this tower.
Even if they have to go, yeah, just send the spiders, they'll do the job.
Yep.
But maybe they can get something else. Dusa, as well as SD is here. TNC fight best when there are only 4. They already get the slow out, the silence. No, man, Sala roll, and the Feather Ball. 3 heroes connected together. They're going to burn so hard. Yang just walking up. You've already taken out the Grimstone. Gabby, no longer spell immune. Cannot stand next to Paparazzi. They want Cuckoo. He'll blink away to safety. But VG 2 heroes down, they can push towers, they can take Roshan, they can do both, they can take runes. They can only do 2 out of those 3.
Are you sure about that?